I mean, there have been many beautiful moments, I think, along the way. But I think for me personally, the first day on set, when all of a sudden the crew is there and, you know, you've made the decisions to get there and you're kind of like all focusing and you take the worries of what to change sort of out the way.
The idea came from a sort of broader research project that myself and PAM Collective were exploring, which was the question, what is a body? Because it's kind of an impossible question to fully answer. We try to think about a sort of contemporary myth on the human body. So it's there's this kind of narrative or this kind of arc, which is this kind of mythical construction.
So it was a segment from a weekend edition. As soon as I heard that audio, it was during a time where it felt like a more heightened moment, you know, not that climate change is going anywhere, but I felt the stress or anxiety of it. And then I heard the audio from that interview, and just Frank Alitru's passion for the bees was just so touching and so moving to me that it was almost an immediate, like the spark happened and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to work on this now.
I've always been very curious about words and sound and the rhythm of words, but this one was just very particular, and I was like, oh, this would make such a great dance film. My friend Soren, who does the DP for the film, I remember he showed me like an image and I was like it just immediately clicked. I was like, that's the film we're going to make. Okay. But it was also so interesting because I have such a personal view of what Bogota is. And Soren, who has been here many times, but he's not Colombian and he doesn't live in Bogota, kind of showed me a different image. And I was like, yes, that's the Bogota I want to show. So that was a very special moment.
We were pulling a lot of inspiration from photography and painting and like art forms that are a little abstract. I think we gave each character sort of like an element and an emotion. I think the one in the kitchen, to me, it was about just repeating the same tasks and getting lost in the spiral of that. And then in the living room, it was about yearning for human contact.
At the end of the shooting day, we had a bit of film left, and we were like, do you feel like improvising? And she just started improvising, but like it was amazing, really. Like I couldn't believe it. And most of the parts we use in 16 millimeters is from this improvisation. So we spend the whole day with, you know, like mapping and everything, like now do this and the camera will go here and there. And then by the time like the whole day passed, everyone was so used to her movements that it like basically that's all we used.
For me, the challenge is always the sort of limitations and letting go of things. You have so many ideas, and you know, you realize in the process of making, you take this out and you take it out, and you're losing so much on the way, it feels like. But I think that is then precisely the thing that you pick up and continue to develop. But I always find it so heartbreaking, like taking out a scene.
I think it's a very important thing to be able to let go of bits of footage that you love as standalone things, but that they just don't add to the film.
Sometimes I have this feeling that I'm out of control, that the project is completely, it went out of my hands. And now with experience, I know that it simply comes back. I think I have to lose the control to get it again.
I just wanted to add one thing, that not only that I love the accessibility of us being able to share our work, and I know, you know, of course, we have to invest in our tools and all of that, but I love that being able to just pick up a camera and being able to create. I love getting to play with and choose what the audience sees and doesn't see, and how we can play with those transitions and that immersive feeling for the audience, and in highlighting things that you don't get to speak about on stage.
And I really love like poems and anything where you sort of hit the truth from the side in this sort of like condensed way. And I think dance is an art form that does that in a way that is uniquely suited to being visualized with the camera.
I think we thought a lot about, you know, the kind of the substance of the body, the kind of three-dimensionality, the four-dimensionality, but then also the kind of screen of the body, the relationship to the image. And I think the other aspect that really we were interested in this genre is the collaboration with film that has a different way of thinking about creating narratives and how they can be experimented with, and how we could bring these cinematic elements into the choreographic process.
Film kind of is able to hold so much, right? It can word, narrative, dance, but also time. It's yeah, it kind of expanded time in how a full day, a full life in Bogota could be, which I guess was the interesting part of like, yeah, how body lives in there as opposed to body in theater or body live. I mean, even the fact that we're here, film can travel.
It's very interesting how the dance materializes in a complete different way through film than when it's on stage and live, right? Because you do lose this like connection with the audience. But on the other hand, this new language that film offers also adds a complete different story that can be made after the dance has happened.
The fact that it's a dance film, but what we saw was a dance performance that is not the film. You get to do, I guess, both things. Well, and then you edit. So it's even three things.
Don't you find as a DP, it's really like you have to learn to dance?
You do. And I wasn't athletic growing up, but it helps to feel both strong and free in my body.
It's always fascinating with dance film to see the backstage of how the camera moves with the dancers. Like it's quite amazing if it's handheld or steady cam. I mean, I think there is another dance, another dimension of the dance of camera with bodies.
Just a big thank you to you and for organizing this event. I think these events are really important to keep, independent art alive, and we had a great experience.